Good morning, everyone. It's the beginning of a new streaming week. And as usual, for my first day of a new streaming week coming back from break, we've got a lot to talk about on today's show. Tons of gaming news happen that we will cover of good and bad varieties. There's a brand new release that we're going to be trying out today. And my internet got an upgrade. And we're going to talk about that and more on today's episode of the Level 1 podcast. Summertime vibes begin today. Alrighty, everyone. So welcome to the show. Today is Friday, the 10th of May, 2024. Officially for me, today is the first day of summer. I know it's a little early, but here we are. I live in Washington State, which is the Pacific Northwest of the United States, where we're supposed to have moderate weather. Today, we are going to have weather in excess of 85 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That is summer weather in this part of the world. So yes, we're having summer in early spring. I guess you could say mid-spring. Because of this, I needed to get my house ready because if I don't, this house heats up like an oven in the afternoons and becomes ridiculously hot. The homes out here are built for heat, not for cold, because when these homes were built in the 1990s, it wasn't this hot. They almost never had summertime weather here. So all the homes are just built for heat retention. Knowing that we were going to have a very warm weekend in the 80s here, I got all my air conditioners in. In fact, I spent a big chunk of yesterday doing that, which I'll talk about during the Phil's Day Off segment. So here's the thing. Right now, I have two fans on. I have the air conditioner fan on low, and I have my oscillating fan on high, oscillating back and forth. Can you hear anything? No. My new microphone filters seem to be doing their job, at least for now. Now, the question is, when I turn that air conditioner on later, which undoubtedly I'm going to have to do, you know, if it's 85 degrees outside, that means it's going to be about 100 in this room. So when I turn this on, will you hear it? I hope not. I have a totally different setup this year where the air conditioner is extended out as far as it can be. I actually rearranged the air conditioning in my house, and I actually even rearranged my furniture to try to make it that there's like a big column of air blowing down the center of the hallway here to try to keep my home as cool as possible this summer. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I hope that once this sucker goes on during today's stream, hopefully you don't hear it. You know, that's the whole point, is trying to do these new improvements. By now, you probably would be hearing a fan blowing in the background, and you shouldn't hear it anymore, which is excellent, right? It's another good improvement. So anyway, that's really neither here nor there, but FYI, later today, during the stream, I will likely have to turn on my air conditioner. I just realized for some reason there's no back to the remote. There was yesterday. Okay. I literally have no clue why there is no back to the remote control. I swear to God there was a back on this yesterday, and now it seems to have vanished. I have no clue. I guess I'll have to try to remember to look for that later. Kind of important that your batteries don't pop out in your hand, right? I mean, I have no clue. Have you ever seen the battery door of a controller just remove itself from the controller and toss itself somewhere? Whatever, I guess. All right, anyway, whatever. I guess there's a ghost in this room. Where people say that this room is haunted, that sometimes I get up and the chair moves. Maybe a ghost came in and stole my... Hold on. Okay, this controller still has the battery door. All right, good. What about my Xbox? Okay, my Xbox controller still has the back on it. All right, I don't know. Anyway, so we have a lot to talk about today. We really do. There's so much going on right now in regards to new game, upgraded internet, tons of gaming news that happened during my day off. Let's just start at something that's random. Let's talk about this new internet thing. So as I was streaming last week, I got an email from my ISP, which happens to be Comcast. And they said, good news. We are upgrading all of our infrastructure, and you're about to just get new internet speeds for free. All your internet in your home will be upgraded, and you'll get faster downloads and faster uploads completely for free. Now, immediately I start to think about this, and I'm skeptical, and I'm like, no one gives anything for free. Probably what's happening is they're trying to stay up to date with the competitors out here, and likely they've already upgraded infrastructure. For example, about a month ago, they said that there was a night or two when the internet was going to go down in the middle of the night, and it did. So probably they've done this in order to prepare for some future proofing or to compete. And in addition, you know that whenever you get something better, they charge you for it, right? So I guarantee you what happens is now when they go to renegotiate contracts, watch the prices skyrocket exorbitantly. I guarantee you, when I go to renegotiate my internet contract, how much you want to bet it's going to be twice as much as I'm paying right now? The good news is I just renegotiated my contract near the end of last year. So I'm locked in for another roughly 2.5 years to the pricing I have. So at least in that regard, I'm good. And let's hope that maybe in another 2.5 years, things have changed and maybe pricing levels out. And so it won't be that big of a deal. I guess we'll see. As of now, it's not a big deal. But this morning, I finally got around to running a speed test. All right. Because I was curious. What speeds am I getting and what was I supposed to get? So first of all, I have 2 internet lines in my house. One line is just for work, meaning that line right there is literally just for uploading, downloading, streaming, and paying bills and stuff, gaming. That's it. Everything in this room that you see me do on stream is on that internet line. I have a second internet line. That one is for basically everything else that we could possibly need. So for example, using our phones. And for me, that means reading emails, uploading or updating YouTube comments, making social media posts, responding to social media posts, talking with my moderator team, talking with other businesses, etc., etc. That's what that's used for. And of course, basically just to watch some TV downstairs. We have it on the like an Amazon Fire Stick or whatever. So, so that's basically how it works. We have 2 separate lines for that. Because if we had all one line, then basically everything at once, you're going to end up having some issues with bandwidth slowdown. And I didn't want that. I want that. It has to be separate. That way, when I'm uploading and I'm doing gaming, it's all just that on that modem and nothing else. So downstairs, the other line is actually, I paid basically the minimum that they have available, which used to be 100 megabits. Is it megabytes or megabits per second upload? No, excuse me, download, and like 30 megabits per second upload. That was like the lowest package they had, and that was always fine for me. I never even needed anything better than that. Well, they have, for free, upgraded that line downstairs to 300 megabits per second download and 35 megabits per second upload. So basically, they tripled the download speed. Does it matter? Probably not. I don't even see how that's going to affect me. I don't really do anything with the downstairs modem that really requires giant speeds. We were able to watch TV, watch videos, do all the postings and things I do without any issue. So is it nice to get more? Yes, but it doesn't really affect stuff. Really, where you think it would affect stuff is in the office right here. Like, this is where we would want a free upgrade to get better speeds. That'll improve the business, right? So previously, I had 500 megabit per second download and 30 megabit per second upload. Okay? So I checked. According to Comcast, I now supposedly have 800 megabit per second download and 35 megabit per second upload. Now, wait a minute. You're going to give me a giant jump in my download speed, but you're only going to give me a 5 megabit increase to my upload speed? Does that really make much sense? Not really. It sounds to me like they're all focusing on download and not upload. And that's kind of weird, right? Like, you basically didn't improve my uploads at all. So anyway, that's what they said, right? So this morning, I said, I'm going to run a speed test to see actually what the speeds are. And I ran it on 2 different speed testing websites to make sure that it wasn't just one with an off reading. And after running the 2 speed testing websites, I verified, yes, my upload speed is 35 megabits per second, like on the dot. Like, it's exactly 35. It doesn't really go above. It doesn't really go below. It just sits at 35. So that's such a small increase to what I used to have. But I guess that's better than nothing. My download speed is 590 megabits per second. It is not 800 megabits per second. Comcast is literally lying to their customer base, claiming that they're giving way more for free than they really are. it's only an increase in about 90 megabits. So I'm glad that I actually did not seek to pay more for what they're claiming the speed would be when it's definitely not. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? I'm going to pay a ton more because you're going to increase my internet speeds. And they say that they're going to increase by 300 and they only give you 90, right? So I guess we'll see. But anything is better than nothing. Yes, obviously, I would like more for the same price. So it's not necessarily it's not a complaint. It's just kind of a criticism when immediately, I mean, I even checked like in my dashboard for Comcast, it even says 800 megabit per second download, and I'm not getting that. I'm getting 590. So anyway, will this help the streams? I mean, you would think it should. I mean, upload speed, slightly better. Not to say that I ever had an issue with my upload speed. My uploads are fine. In fact, usually it's the limitation of the service, either YouTube or Twitch or whatever that limits what I'm doing stream quality at. It's not my internet that's limiting me. As for downloading, I mean, I'll download things faster, I guess. But would this really affect online play in games? Probably not. I think it's such a small increase to performance. Maybe it would slightly increase or better my ping to some people when I play Street Fighter. Like tonight when I play Street Fighter, would it actually make the connections better? Maybe ever so slightly, right? But probably not a huge incremental difference. So there you go. Woohoo. So hey, if you got Comcast, I guess you just got some free speed upgrades. And I guess that's better than nothing. Okay. So that's out of the way. Yesterday was my day off, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I just want to let you know I had a really great week last week streaming, particularly Wednesday. If you remember, we did more Another Crab's Treasure. And we continued exploring and destroying all the optional cubes. This took me into a lot of cool new areas. I got a big upgrade to everything that I was doing. I have brand new abilities and everything. Then we went to a new dungeon and went basically through the entire Veil dungeon, which was really fun. So Another Crab's Treasure started off, I felt too much of almost like a Souls-like ripoff. Now I feel like the game is like getting way better. Now there's unique builds, unique stuff I'm doing. I like the optional exploration that leads you to optional super bosses and things that you normally wouldn't even know are in the game. And I think at this point, I'm almost done with it. Because looking at the upgrade tree, I maybe have like 5-6 upgrades left in the whole tree. And I'm like, well, if you're going to max out your upgrade tree, it probably means you're near the end of the game. I heard the game is around 20 hours long if you do most of the main story elements, but can be longer if you do the optional content. Well, taking a look at my playthrough, I think I'm up to 15 hours. Yeah, I'm 15 hours in. So I'm wondering if that means that I'm like more than 2/3 in, and maybe I'm going to beat this playthrough roughly around maybe like say 25 hours. I'm not sure. I am trying to do as much optional content as I find in the game. I'm not trying to skip. I'm actually exploring thoroughly and trying to figure stuff out. And in fact, once I complete a certain dungeon that I'm at, I'm supposed to get the ability to do the other optional thing in the game, which is power up these like robot crabs. And that enables like cranes to move and create new areas. So I'm definitely down to try that out, and see how that's going to work. And check all the optional stuff out. It's probably going to have more optional bosses and items and stuff. So, I'm thinking maybe another 10 hours, which is good. I'm going to play it a few more streams the next week or two before we get to new stuff at the end of the month. So, good stuff. I'm really liking it. I hope you guys will check it out. I know a lot of people wrote off Another Crab's Treasure saying, oh, it's just too cutesy. It's really not. I mean, the art style, sure, but the gameplay is incredibly Souls-like, like a combination of Sekiro and Dark Souls, I would say. And the game does enough to differentiate itself from the Souls series with some of the things it's doing now. So I hope you'll definitely give it a look. It's really fun. I think it's one of the best smaller scale games I've played in many years, actually. Okay, so that was the main game on Wednesday. Wednesday night, all we did was chill. We just hung out and talked for like 2 hours, and it was fun. I like doing those chill streams. They break up the content. They make it interesting with conversation. We talked about so many different topics, and particularly, of all the topics we talked about, the one that I think was the most notable was the one at the very end of the show, where we talked about what is success and happiness, and how basically a lot of people in life have a certain criteria for what they consider success, right? A level of popularity, a level of financial security, how much do you own or how many people like you. And for me, that's not what success ever was. That's not actually what I ever saw being a YouTuber. I always, when I became a YouTuber, was just using this as an outlet, a creative outlet, a hobby. I never intended for my YouTube presence to blow up or anything like that. And I think that sadly what it is now everyone who's on YouTube just thinks that it's all about popularity, clicks, views, money. It's not. It's really not. And in life, if that's how you go through life, just thinking that about all your whole life, you're going to be very sad. Most people are going to be very upset because not everyone is going to be a giant, huge celebrity, successful, rolling in money or whatever. That just doesn't exist for most people on Earth. So for people to think of that, even on YouTube, that's absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. I basically talked a lot about my life and my experiences and stuff like that. I hope you'll give that a look if you haven't yet. I haven't really checked views or anything on my day off. I was so busy yesterday, which we're about to talk about in a moment. It was a super busy day for me. But it was meaningful to me to talk about that stuff with you guys. So I hope you'll check out the chill session we did from Wednesday night, okay? So yes, folks, yesterday was my day off. And of course, on the day back from my day off, I tell you about everything I did. Basically, yesterday was a super busy day for me. Why? Well, not only did I have to do all my usual stuff that I do on my day off, including grocery shopping and running errands, but I also had to put in all the air conditioners in the house, which is no easy task when your blinds are all broken, like mine are. Like, I'm not even kidding you. In every single room that I have to install air conditioning, my blinds are broken. Every room. None of the blinds in the house even work anymore. In this room, I can't even pull up the blinds. If I do, they will be permanently stuck in the up position, and you can't fix it because the thing up there that you actually pull the wire on already snapped off and broke like 2 years ago. So, in order to do these blinds, not only do I have to frustratingly balance the insert that has to go into the sliding window and then put foam and stuff in and tape it up, but I have to do this with blinds on my back because I have to lift them over my back to do it. So I look like an asshole, and it's a pain in the butt, and I get covered in dirt and everything. Like, ugh. But, I got it done. It took about 2 hours, basically, to put them all in. What I do is I have the the weather foam that you can buy that you stick in the gaps, and then you have weatherproof tape. Let me tell you, weatherproof tape is so cool. I love this stuff. This tape right here, which you can get at any hardware store or online, is so effing good. It's thick like plastic, but it's malleable and easy to mold into like a corner or a shape where you need it to go. This shit sticks so well. And before I had weatherproof tape, I used to try other means to put these air conditioners in, and it was like a nightmare. This stuff is the best. You've got to use it. And by the way, multi-use. They say it's weatherproof because you're supposed to tape windows up and stuff with it, but it does so much more. Like, if you have a crack somewhere and you need to get that crack sealed up, this shit is really good for that. So I strongly recommend weatherproof tape. And by the way, it's not even expensive. It's actually just a really reliable, remarkable product that I wish I knew more about earlier in my life. I probably would have been using this shit for things forever. The only drawback, it stinks when you use it. Right now it's fine, but once you take it off and you try to put it on, something, it has a smell to it. The smell goes away after a bit, but it is kind of yucky. So, yeah, I'm, is there a drawback? But for the most part, it's a really, really useful product. Yeah. Packing tape also stinks like chemical. You would never want to use packing tape on your window. That would never work. Packing tape, that will never work. You need this stuff. This stuff's good. So yeah, so it took me like 2 hours. I put all 3 of them in, turned them on. And by the way, we rotated them around where now we have the bigger air conditioners in the bedroom across the hall, down the hall. And then we have the 2 smaller air conditioners on this end. So I have the one in my office and one over in the room across there. They'll be blowing the air down the hallway while that big one is blowing it out of the bedroom. So all 3 rooms will be cool. And that's going to push the air down the staircase into the bottom floor. We cannot put an air conditioner downstairs. Why? We literally don't have a window that opens. In our living room, we have 2 big windows that are considered bay windows. They don't open. So you can't put an air conditioner in there. And then we have a back door that's just a sliding door. You would never fit an air conditioner in there. It's too tall. So you can't, there's no air conditioning available downstairs. We're just stuck with this kind of stagnant air down there. So what we do is we have the 3 air conditioners upstairs, and then we turn on our air system, and it circulates the air through the house, through the vents. And we bought really high-grade air filters that filter out all kinds of disgusting shit, like pollen and soot and pet dander and all that stuff. So we get clean air throughout the house, even though the air conditioners are blasting and taking all that shit in from the outside. Basically, the air gets double filtered through the air conditioner, then through the vent system. And it's actually pretty good. So, yes, soot, because we have wildfires. Someone just said soot. Yeah, we have wildfires where sometimes we get for a week really disgusting soot-filled air, and we need them to be filtered through our system here. So, anyway, it's all in effect, and it took about, like I said, 2 hours of my day yesterday to do that. In addition to that, I still had to go out and get groceries and pet supplies, and oh yeah, I picked up something from like a pickup, from a store pickup, from online stuff, and you know, the usuals. Came home, unpacked the groceries, ordered some food. We ended up ordering some Hawaiian barbecue, which is always delicious. I got a what did I get? I got a seafood combo. It was like a couple shrimp and a piece of whitefish and some katsu curry. Yeah, you know, chicken katsu, but with the freaking curry sauce on top. Oh my god, that stuff is so good. And then after that, we ended up watching. Well, actually, I take that back. My wife basically finished up Fallout 4 for her second time. This time around, she sided with the Brotherhood. The first time around when she played it years ago, she sided with the Railroad. This time, she sided with the Brotherhood. And so she got to see the different plot lines with Paladin Dance and everything. And you know, it was interesting. She likes the game, but hates that the endings aren't definitive endings like they are in the other Fallout games. In this game, you get like a little bit of story, and then it's like, oh, the game just continues. Huh? What's the ending? Well, there is none. Just keep playing. Oh, well, that's not really an ending then, is it? And there really is no definitive ending in Fallout 4. So, watched her do that, and then we did house cleaning, because basically what happened was, when I put the air conditioner in that other room, all right, my wife's like, oh, man, what a mess. We should clean the room out. So we did. But then it was like spring cleaning. So we ended up spending like another chunk of the day taking stuff out of that room, tossing it in the garage for when I go to the dump to throw out, and just cleaning up and, you know, vacuuming the house and everything. So honestly, I mean, was it a day off? Yeah. Was it really a good day off where we did a lot that was enjoyable? No. I mean, I got to watch my wife play some Fallout 4, and we had a good dinner, and that was about it. A lot of the day was a lot of work, and by the end of the day, we were both so exhausted. We actually went to bed early and passed out. Like, normally we don't do that. Normally it's like, oh, it's time for bed. All right, well, we'll watch some stuff online, or, you know, we were dead tired. We were boop out. We did so much work. So that was our thrilling day off yesterday. Not too much to talk about in that regard. But what was fascinating about yesterday was the amount of game news. There was a ton of news to talk about on today's show that I want to cover, which we will. So just prepare. The news segment is going to be very lengthy today. Okay, just so you guys know. Or allow me to put I really should put the weatherproof tape back into the closet, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know why I have it here. Hold on. Shit. My closet is now a tremendous mess again. We're basically 2 years out from when I did the closet cleanup in the summer of 2022. And what's happened is the floor of the closet has accumulated decorations and shit from over the last 2 years. It's a big mess again. The good news is all my vests and hats and everything are still organized and nice, but the floor of that closet is a huge mess. Like, oh my god. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do another closet clean out another year, and maybe we'll clean it up again, right? Okay, so. Whew. All right. Let's go over the gaming schedule so you guys know what to expect for the next week, roughly. And then we got a giant news segment to do, okay? So schedule-wise, today we're trying out a new game called Little Kitty Big City. This is a game that is, I guess, an indie game. And from what I'm to understand, it's about a cat in kind of a sandbox world where it can figure out different puzzles and different things to do stuff and get to new areas. I don't exactly understand the formula. I don't know if there's combat. I don't know if it's more like Untitled Goose Game. Like, I haven't really followed it that much because I didn't want to spoil either. I wanted to kind of tackle it today genuinely for the first time. So we're going to see what it's all about. Yes, I am doing a full stream of it today. All right? It's a Game Pass game, by the way, so if you have Game Pass, you can check it out under that subscription without paying. Now, today, let's give it a look. If we like it, if it's something that's cute and fun, interesting, and warrants more playing, then I'll keep playing it. Will it be a daytime stream? I don't know, but probably not. I'm thinking my day streams are still going to be alternated between Fallout 4 and Another Crab's Treasure for now. This might be like a night stream to balance with, say, Street Fighter, okay? If we really don't like it, like, let's say we play it and it's not good or whatever, then we don't have to play it ever again, and we could do something else. So it really is one of those kind of exploration-style streams where we just give it a chance, see if it's good, and if it is, great, and if not, it's fine. Right? No big deal. No skin off my back. No, there was no investment in it anyway. Kind of like a Harold Halibut situation. Okay? So, let's see today. Oh, excuse me. I can't stop burping. Let's see today how it goes. And go from there. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it is time for Friday Night Fights. Zangief ranked in Street Fighter 6. And here's the deal. We are in position to possibly get Zangief to master level. We are in 5-star diamond and firmly into it. Like, we are a big chunk into 5-star diamond. The problem is now I may fight an endless onslaught of the top tier characters. The Cammies, the Juries, the Kens, the Lukes, the DJs, the JPs, the Chun-Lis, and the Guiles. Those are the characters that are the best against Zangief and probably will destroy me. So we're going to see how it goes tonight. If I get lucky and I face a master player and I beat them, I get whopping amounts of points. I know because this happened last stream back on Tuesday night. I fought a master Zangief. I beat him two straight. I got 500 ranking points, which propelled me from 4-star diamond into mid 5-star diamond. So if that happens again, I'm going to be like way ahead. So I guess we'll see what happens, right? Who do I actually fight tonight and go from there? I'm hoping for the best. I'm honestly hoping we can hit master because that would at least give me maybe like a week of flexibility to play other characters before the update hits on May 22nd. But I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see and go from there. Let's find out. All right, cool. Tomorrow, the daytime stream will be more Fallout 4. And last time around in Fallout 4, we did a lot of side questing that ended up really improving my build, including massive levels and a new weapon. This time around, perhaps we will just continue with some of the story because I actually have 2 different story elements that want me to go to Good Neighbor now. So maybe we'll just do that. And then we'll continue on whatever comes up there because I get the feeling once you hit Good Neighbor, a ton more characters, or excuse me, quests unlock to check out. So probably do that. And then tomorrow night, I'm thinking we'll do Another Crab's Treasure because I really like the game. And I don't want to have it go like half a week when we're not playing it. Last time I played it, was Wednesday. And it's like, well, Jude, if I don't play it Friday, if I don't play it Saturday, Sunday's React Day, we're going to go a whole week without playing it. So I definitely think that I'm going to be doing Another Crab's Treasure on tomorrow night's late stream. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. The crab game has worked as a day stream. I want to play it as a night stream because I don't want to wait too long before I play it again. Okay? So we're going to do that Saturday night. Sunday, all day long, is going to be React Day, meaning we're going to have the usual, DSP versus the Internet clip show, and then we're going to have on the late stream the conclusion of the Walking Dead Season 1 Retro React on DSP Throwback, which is really fun that we're wrapping that up. And by the way, I have a big update. I realized there is a huge amount of games and or a particular amount of games that I think would be great for a Retro React that no one has really thought of. And so, this Sunday night on that Retro React stream, I'm going to make a poll live, including Dark Souls and Metal Gear Solid 1, but I'm also going to be including 1 or 2 other games that I know for a fact are really fun playthroughs, because they're some of my personal favorites from over the years that I think you guys might want to see a Retro React to. So I'm going to add those to the running. You will see on Sunday night what I mean. I kind of don't want to spoil yet, but yeah, you guys are going to vote to determine what exactly it is that you want to see on that next Retro React the week after and go from there. Okay? So there you go. That's Sunday night. Then Monday, we're going to do Another Crab's Treasure on the day stream. And If I like Little Kitty Big City, then we're going to play that Monday night. If not, then we can do whatever. We could do Street Fighter. We could do a random game. We could bring back Helldivers 2. I'm not really sure what we want to do. It really depends. Okay, and then probably what we'll do is we'll alternate between Fallout 4 and Another Crab's Treasure on the day streams, and the night streams will alternate between Street Fighter 6 and or Little Kitty Big City, or if we don't like the Little Kitty game, something else. And that's the week, okay? Now keep in mind, coming up, we got new stuff this month. On the 21st, it's the release of Hellblade 2. Yes, I'm playing Hellblade 2. I'm very interested in it. I liked the first game. And I definitely want to play this one, okay? On the 22nd, we've got the big update to Street Fighter 6, including the release of Akuma and the big game-wide rebalance, of which, I hate to say, I don't know if you guys have heard yet. I don't understand why, but some people were given exclusive access to test out the new balance already. So there's already competitive players who have their hands on it. Is that fair? No. Thankfully, I'm not in the competitive FGC, because if I was, I'd be pretty ripping pissed that only a select few top gamers got the new version and everyone else has to wait. I don't really understand that. At the same time, I don't care because, again, I'm not going to go to tournaments or whatever. But some of these changes in Street Fighter 6, people are really scratching their heads about. Get this. They're making Luke better. Yeah, people were testing Luke and realizing he has more priority and stuff. They're like, wait, what? He's already top tier. He was the most qualified character for Capcom Cup. Why did they improve him? It doesn't seem to make sense. People are scratching their heads. On the flip side of that, it seems like they made the worst characters worse. E Honda is atrociously bad now. Whenever E Honda does a butt splash, if you block it, you get pushed back, and he can't jab or hit you. He's just so far away, he can't do anything after a butt splash that you block. If he headbutts and you jump, the headbutt will just stop by default under them, and then you get a free combo. You can't jump over a headbutt and it's not safe. He just stops. And people are like, wait a minute. Honda's like arguably one of, if not the worst character in the game. Why did he receive nerfs while one of the top tier characters got a buff? Do these idiots know what they're doing? So a lot of people are very confused right now at what they're finding in this balance patch. Now, no one has it yet. It's just a select few people who are posting up about it. So no one really knows everything yet. But it's kind of fucking weird what they've done with it. I really hope they didn't ruin the whole game. I mean, I'll be honest. If it's literally now only 5 characters can play competitively because they're so overpowered, this game's going to die in another year. They're just idiots. So I hope they didn't fuck it up. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that's coming out on the 22nd, and I'm going to thoroughly cover the Street Fighter 6 update. And then keep in mind, on the 25th, May 25th, is my PC Indies Marathon, where I'm all day long going to be playing indie games right here on DSPGaming just for fun, just to break stuff up and do stuff a little differently. Rather than be so hyper-focused on all new releases and stuff, I want to check out some of the indie games that I've missed out on. And boy, did you guys hear about all the stuff going on? That video game donkey guy, the YouTuber, he produced a game that apparently everyone is saying is an insanely good indie game. Right? Hades 2 just came out in early access. I'm just saying a few ideas here of games that might be outstanding suggestions to play for this Indies event. These are some really good ones that might actually be awesome. And then if I like them, maybe we'll actually do full playthroughs of them, right? So I'm just saying, nominate these games if you're interested in them. How do you nominate? Type !indies into the stream chat right now. The link will pop up where you can nominate those games. And then also, if you're not live on stream, it is a thread that's here on the community tab of the page from like a week and a half ago, from the beginning of the month, that you can post up. The most nominated games will then make it to a final poll, and that poll will determine what games I actually play on the marathon. I'm thinking probably around 5-ish, because you want to give each game roughly about an hour to see what they're all about, right? So that's awesome. I hope that you guys will join me for that, and I hope that you will nominate, okay? The poll is coming next week, by the way. It'll basically be right at the beginning of like next week is when we'll do that poll. Or actually, no, we're at the 10th. Probably this weekend. Not this weekend. Today's Friday. I'll probably later this week, like Monday, Tuesday. When we hit like around the 14th, I'll probably do the poll, and then you guys will have about a week to vote, I think. So anyway, please nominate. If you haven't yet, please nominate games. Okay. Okay. That's what we got on the horizon. Now there's other stuff too. Like for example, there's the System Shock remake coming out, right? There's the Mario Thousand Year Door remake. There's multiverses at the end of the month. But I don't want to jump the gun on everything and say, oh, we're playing 17 games. I just want to take it easy. Let's see how we're doing with each game. I'm predicting we'll probably beat another Crab's Treasure. Little Kitty Big City, I've heard, even if we like it, isn't a long game. Okay? So we have potential that a few games will already be beaten and out of the rotation by the time the end of the month hits anyway, making room for the new ones. So let's see what happens. Okay? Okay, all right. That's it. Let's do it. We have so much news to talk about today. It's time to get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment here on the Level 1 Podcast. And it's time for DSP News. Woo! Excuse me. I got a little excited about the news today. Okay. We got news. News piece number 1. Fallout 4 is receiving another update on May 13th, featuring new options for graphics and performance settings, as well as further fixes and improvements. You want to know what I really think this is? I think they're going to fix all the things they fucked up with the next-gen patch. Because when they put that next-gen patch on the game, they broke a lot of shit. I'll give you an example. You ready for this? So my wife is playing Fallout 4, and she's like, why are all these new bugs in here? Just yesterday, okay? First of all, we're playing, and she's on the Pridwin, and one of the scribes, the Brotherhood scribes on the deck of the Pridwin, is T-posing like this. His face is completely glitched out and distorted. He's got patches of pixelated skin that doesn't match the color of his skin type on his face, like a puzzle that's ripped apart. And he's like this, and she goes to talk to him, and he doesn't move, but his eyes creepily go like this. Ready? Watch. Are you ready? Watch my eyes. Hi, how you doing? He's like, hey, what's going on? Hi. It's so creepy. It was so creepy. Like, oh my God. So then again, she went to the Pridwin again, and she had Hancock as a follower. She goes, where's Hancock? I don't know where he is. He's not following me. She goes back to the, what do you call their helicopters? I forgot what they're called. The Brotherhood helicopters, right? She goes back. Hancock is sitting there on his ass, injured. What? So he slipped and fell getting off of the helicopter, and he downed himself on the deck of the Pridwin for no reason. There's no combat on the deck of the Pridwin. It's a safe NPC area. How did he get down? He's just on his ass. Oh, I need a stim pack. It's like, what? And then this takes the cake. So she was, during one of the final story missions for the Brotherhood, you're storming this building. It's called like Mass Fusion or something like that. And it's full of synths, right? So you have this other person with you. I think they're called like Proctor Ingram or something like that. It's a woman in a power suit. So she's coming out of a door, and the game glitches, and it shows her coming out, going in, coming out, going in, coming out, going in, coming out, going in, and she won't stop. She's stuck in an infinite loop of entering and leaving the door instead of coming out and fighting. She's so basically, like, what the? And none, I mean, listen, the game was full of bugs before, but since they did this next gen patch, it added so many more. It just rebroke the game in all the new ways. It's like, what the fuck is happening? So I almost guarantee you that this new update that they're putting out on, what is it, Monday, the 13th, probably will fix some of the things they fucking broke when they did this stupid update. They're so dumb. So I guess we'll see. Okay, so anyway, if you're playing Fallout 4 currently, expect another update to come out on Monday that will probably further fix some issues and further break others, right? Okay, now it's time for a bunch of news overload. You ready for this? The CEO of EA Games made the following statement yesterday. We have a real hunger to start using generative AI as quickly as possible on our games. We believe that more than 50% of our development process will be positively impacted by the use of AI. Did you ever hear of a little story and or movie franchise called The Terminator? You know what happens in that story and franchise? Humans use technology and advance it too far, too fast, without checks, balances, and tests. This is actually one of the plot lines of the Fallout, is the Brotherhood are against the over-advancement of technology because that's what was responsible for the apocalypse. The nuclear bombs that destroyed everything, right? The synths that are taking over the Commonwealth. It seems like we have absolutely no kinds of self-consciousness at all when it comes to technology. Like, we have all these cautionary tales around us of what could happen if we advance things too fast, too quick, with no checks or tests in place for safety, for viability, how it could harm or help humanity, right? We're just flying forward, everything unchecked. I just want you to think about this, okay? AI in video games. Well, let's see. Already the games industry is having kind of a bad time. Everyone's getting laid off left and right because games aren't doing well, right? In general. The best games out there seem to be the games with small, dedicated dev teams pumping out games full of quality and care and heart, right? Look at the games that have been successful in the last year versus the flops of giant AAA studios, and you'll see a pattern emerge, correct? So why is it that the CEO of EA thinks the solution to the problem in gaming is to pump AI into game development? So what you want to do is you want to have AI auto-generate content for video games. So do you think AI is going to be creative? AI is based on algorithms of other things that people have already made. AI does not make anything original. It just makes a hodgepodge of other people's work. So what all you want to do is you're admitting your company is not going to be creative. They're just going to regurgitate things other people have done and then try to sell it as a new product. That's literally what the CEO is saying. And you'll listen to this. It's like, can you understand like how out of touch? I've been talking about this recently. Microsoft and Bethesda and the CEOs of these companies are completely out of touch with fucking reality. They're living in a different world than we live in. They're rich. They're isolated from any kind of risk. They know that no matter what happens and what decisions they make, they're still going to be safe and rich for the rest of their lives. So to them, oh yeah, the solution is just to fucking lay off everyone and pump AI into our game development cycle. What about the people who work for you, right? What about the end users who need to buy the games? It doesn't make sense from any person with common sense. The things that they're doing and talking about make no sense, correct? The problem is these people in charge don't fucking have common sense because they're not common people. You understand? They are people who live in a different life and a different world than us. So if you are in some different category of existence, how would you ever understand what the person down here wants or thinks, right? Who the fuck wants to work for EA when the CEO just said, oh yeah, we're just going to make AI do everything? Oh, well, I really want to work for your company where my job could get cut at any moment because a fucking AI algorithm will just do what I do, right? This is just insanely stupid. And if we start automating everything with AI, what jobs will be left, right? What exactly will we be doing? At all. The only things that humans will be doing are things that are considered creative enough that an AI can't replicate it, right? Like right now, if you ask AI to generate art, all it does is a hodgepodge of other people's art. It can't really do that, right? But it could do the tasks. It could do like all this stuff that humans used to do, you know? So are we just supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand these morons at the top because they think, well, we're in charge anyway. So we'll never be affected by AI. A CEO can't lose his job because of AI, right? Everyone else can, but not the CEO. So the CEO says, let's use AI, you know? I mean, these people literally have no fucking souls. They're just husks of people. They're fucking scum. The moment this guy said that, there's a real hunger for us to use AI. Go fuck yourself. Literally. Leave the company now. Have someone else go into a position of power that cares about games, the industry as a whole, people, employees. Go fuck yourself. Go take all your money and get on a fucking jet right now and go fly to an island that you probably bought and live there isolated from the rest of us along with all your other silver spoon in your fucking mouth rich bitch people and leave us normal people alone. We don't want to deal with this shit, but we're kept down by these fucking people. I can't believe this guy said this publicly. You would think this is the kind of thing that an evil guy says in a boardroom, and it's hush hush closed door because we don't want to know who really are. These people are saying this stuff in the public. These people are literally saying this stuff in the public, and no one seems to care. Anyway, that was just the first news story for today. Yeah. So we have some interesting statistics to talk about today in regards to Capcom. Because if you take a look at the recent, like, last decade, where a lot of other game companies have been floundering. I mean, take a look at BioWare. Take a look at anything coming out of an Xbox studio, right? Bethesda, in particular. These companies that used to always be prominent and the go-to companies that you know when a game's coming out from these guys that's good, now they're all floundering, correct? Well, guess what? Capcom's been doing incredibly good. In fact, here they actually released their sales numbers for recently, okay? Just listen to this. So, the most recent games that Capcom has released, listen to these sales numbers. Dragon's Dogma 2, which just came out, what was it, a month and a half ago? 2.62 million in sales. However, I should put an asterisk next to this. I have to. 2.62 million in sales, 2.5 million were pre-orders. Meaning they all sold at launch, 2.5 million. Since launch, only 100,000 copies have sold. That's actually not good at all. What that means is the game came out, and once people saw what it was, no one really wanted to buy it. So, good initial sales based on hype, literally no feet, no traction. The game is dying now. No one's buying it anymore. So, good initial sales is still good for Capcom. Street Fighter 6, currently up to 3.3 million in sales and climbing. Now, will the game get more sales over time? Undoubtedly, yes, because it is the prominent fighting game for Capcom right now. It has an active tournament scene. What the game really needs is a little bit more of a rejuvenation and more hype. I don't know if this patch they're about to do on the 22nd is going to do that. Perhaps if they do a formal Season 2 launch at some point, that would do it for them. But still great sales for a fighting game in the modern era. Sadly, doesn't hold a candle to what Mortal Kombat 1 sold. Again, the funny part about Mortal Kombat 1 is that it's dead. Like, no one cares about it. While Street Fighter 6 is still prominently talked about and highlighted in all the competitive circles. So, it's funny what hype does initially for a game, and then it dies, but other games still have legs. Maybe over time, Street Fighter 6 will actually outsell Mortal Kombat 1, but it's going to take a while, right? Resident Evil 4 Remake sold 7.02 million. What the? Yeah, it sold a lot. It sold a lot of copies. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think it would have sold that many in only a year. 7 million. Holy shit, that's huge. And then the big one, of course, for Capcom, which is funny, because what's really funny to me about this is a game that you know it's huge, but you swear you don't really hear that much about how huge it is unless you're in one of the circles. Monster Hunter World, as of now, has sold an insanely whopping 25.32 million copies and still climbing. Really? Like, would you have thought that Monster Hunter World sold that much? Again, I'm not saying anything negative about the franchise. I know it's hyper popular, but that's more than like 3 times the sales of any of their other games. It's insane, right? Anyway, so that's the stats when it comes to, oh crap, what did I just do? That's the stats when it comes to their recent games. But if you want to know about their overall most successful franchises of all time, number 7 is Dragon's Dogma with 11 million total copies sold. Number 6 is Dead Rising with 16 million total copies sold. Number 5 is Devil May Cry with 31 million copies sold. Number 4, interestingly enough, is Mega Man with 41 million copies sold. Whatever the fuck happened to Mega Man, their 4th most successful franchise, and they don't do anything with the character anymore, right? Number 3 is Street Fighter, 54 million. Number 2 is Monster Hunter, 100 million. And coming in at number 1 by a humongous margin 157 million copies sold, Resident Evil. So Resident Evil is the biggest game Capcom has ever made. So it's funny because when you look at numbers like this, you're like, wow, so they're doing really good. Yeah, they literally are. In fact, remember the announcement that they came out with a month or two ago saying that basically they're going to pay their employees more as a way of saying, you know, thank you, right? They outright said that they were going to give them like bonuses and stuff. So that's really cool. So there's an example of a company that obviously is doing stuff right. Now, what is Capcom doing that's different from other companies? But let's think about it. Well, Resident Evil is their highest selling franchise ever. But Resident Evil hasn't always been popular. If you remember, around the 2011, 2012 years, when Resident Evil 6 came out, they were tanking. People hated Resident Evil 6. They didn't like the direction the series was going. And so what they did is they toned back. They scaled back. They said, we're listening to you. The sales aren't where we wanted. We want to know why. They listened to all the feedback. And what they ended up doing is rebooting the series, essentially, with Resident Evil 7, bringing it back to its survival horror roots, going the first person, which is more popular than third person at that time. You know what I'm saying? Making it more like a movie, but also combining it with Resident Evil gameplay. Like, they essentially listened to all of the feedback, right? They listened to all of the feedback of what people were saying and rebooted it, and there you go. So, okay, that's interesting. If you listen to feedback, it will succeed. Okay. Monster Hunter. This is one that I cannot attest to, all right? I can't attest to Monster Hunter because I don't know why Monster Hunter is so popular. I get it. Like, I know that it is popular. I just don't understand the reasoning why it got so popular. So in this one, I don't think I can really speak to. I don't want to because I don't want to misspeak and be wrong. But Street Fighter, now this is the tried and true original fighting game franchise. Yes, it's had its ups and downs, right? I mean, there was almost an entire decade Capcom abandoned it, where they didn't even make a valid Street Fighter game. The only one that they made from the years of like 1999 all the way through 2009, the only one that they made was Capcom Fighting Jam. And that was dog shit, you know? So, in regards to Street Fighter, again, I have to say, even though Capcom makes a lot of missteps, they will usually listen again to feedback, and then they'll come back strong. So basically, after a situation where they were gone for almost a decade, they come back with Street Fighter 4. It completely injects the fighting game franchises with new vigor and vim, and everyone likes fighting games again because it brings them into a modern era, right? And then you've got Street Fighter 5, which is literally the opposite of that, where they kind of got too full of themselves and wanted to do certain things with the game that no one really wanted. They thought they knew better than everyone else to try to make the game work online, so they had this giant input lag that really failed. But now with Street Fighter 6, they did the opposite. Again, listened to feedback, gave people what they wanted. You know, all the features of the game, a fully fledged, full-featured game at launch, right? So pretty good in that regard that Capcom seems to listen and give the people what they want. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but those are some pretty amazing positive numbers. And what's good about this is also, okay, here's the one thing that I'll definitely say. If you haven't noticed, Capcom has really never, ever done an exclusivity deal. What does that mean? Capcom doesn't say, our game is just going to be on this console or that console. All right? I'll take that back in regards to Street Fighter 5. It was PlayStation 5 and then PC only, remember? Or excuse me, PlayStation 4 and then PC only. And look what happened. Right? Look what happened with Street Fighter 5. Ended up being the worst Street Fighter in numbered history. Right? So, there you go. That when they did that one time that they decided to do an exclusivity deal, it ruined everything. And then they went back to being cross-platform, and now everything's good again. Right? But usually, Resident Evil, it's not exclusive, right? So that's what I mean. If their games are all cross-platform, they make good games, they listen to fan feedback, typically they succeed. It seems like a formula for success. Why can't their contemporaries figure this out? Right? So now, we're going to talk a little bit about the whole Microsoft deal. Because there's a lot going on with it. But before we do, there is one other story I want to talk about. And this one is directly tying into something that we did on my React show a few weeks ago. If you remember, there was a video that showed Neuralink, which is the interface, the digital interface with a human brain that makes it so that someone who perhaps is paralyzed can control things with their mind. So this was installed in a human brain in January, and we watched a video of it in action on my React show, if you remember. Well, sadly, they have run into a snag. Are you ready for this? This is a article from Ars Technica, I think is the name of the site. So I'm just letting you know, I'm reading an excerpt from it. The first invasive brain chip that Neuralink embedded in a human brain has malfunctioned, with neuron surveilling threads appearing to have become dislodged from the participant's brain, the company revealed in a blog post on Wednesday. It is unclear what caused the threads to become retracted from the brain, how many have retracted, or if the displaced threads pose any kind of safety risk. Neuralink, the brain-computer interface startup run by controversial billionaire Elon Musk, did not immediately respond to requests for a comment from Ars. The company said in its blog post that the problem began in late February. So this has been happening since late February, and they didn't tell anyone about it until like 2 days ago. It has since been able to compensate for this lost data to some extent by modifying its algorithm. It remains unclear why the threads moved from their placement, but one hypothesis that sources told the Journal is that there's air trapped inside of the person's skull after the surgery, a condition called pneumocephalus. The sources familiar with Neuralink's trial said that the possibility of removing the implant was considered after the problem was identified, but the patient's safety does not appear to be negatively impacted. The company reported the retraction of the threads lowered the bits per second rate. And so what they did is they changed the algorithm in order to make it so that the bits per second rate would be upped, and now they can kind of, it kind of works again. So already, this is the first case where they installed it in the guy's brain, and it was working right. And within a few weeks, it stopped working, but they didn't tell anyone until this week. So for 3 months, the thing hasn't worked, you know? At least what they're saying is the guy isn't hurt, thank God. But then again, they said, well, we don't think it's going to do anything. At least we don't have any evidence to say that it will. They don't know if it will. This guy signed a legal disclaimer. You know, he is paralyzed and he wanted to have a chance to do something in his life. You know, other than his life situation as it is now. So I guess he felt the risk was worth it. Let's hope it doesn't fry the guy's brain. But it's kind of disappointing because, like, when we watched that video on my React show a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was like a month ago now, it sure seemed like it was working. Like, the whole video was positive. Look, he's controlling the computer screen, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. And now here we are. We find out just 2 weeks into the trial, it already failed. And they've been trying to fix it, and it's not working as well, and they're trying to find solutions. But basically, yeah, it's not really, you know, what they did say at the end of this article is that the company is hoping to carry out 2 more implantations in the coming months, and they want to do 10 total by the end of the year. So this guy was number 1, but now they want to do 2 more, and then they want to do another, like, 7 by the end of the year. So, you know, listen, if this ends up being something very nice for people who sadly are in this man's position, then I'm all for it. Really, I'm all for it. I'm just a little skeptical, especially with a company that's owned by Elon Musk. I'm just saying, the guy's not exactly the brightest light bulb in the pack. And you can tell from the way he acts and the things he says and does. So, I don't know. I hope that maybe this could be something that's done slowly, carefully studied. We don't advance, like this AI thing that's out of control. I hope we don't run way far ahead and try to do shit with it before it's ready. You know what I'm saying? But that sucks. You know, we you know, from the video we had watched, it seemed like everything was going well, and apparently not so. All right. So now let's get to it. The big story is the Microsoft story. That Xbox just laid off 4 game studios, closed them, including Tango Gameworks, who just came out with the hit Hi-Fi Rush last year. So the shit show continues. The entire internet is all over this story. So here is a post, a social media post from someone named Brad. He used to work both for Microsoft and for EA at different points in his career. Now he's doing something completely differently. He actually is a public relations and communications leader at a different company. But Brad has a very interesting take about what's going on over at Microsoft that I would like to read today. Okay? So this is directly from Brad Hildebrandt Okay? Here's what he has to say. There are two reasons why all those Bethesda studios closed, and neither of them have anything to do with the Bethesda directly. Game Pass and Activision. The biggest paradox with Game Pass is that basically every game that launches on the service badly misses its sales goals. Makes sense, though. Why would you pay full price for a game when you could just play it for free as part of your subscription? This is accounted for somewhat by attributing portions of revenue to top-performing Game Pass games every month, but there are factors working against games. Namely, the fact that the most games don't stay at the top of the chart for more than a month or two, and also that Game Pass growth has stagnated. So games like Hi-Fi Rush, which is incredible, mind you, gets a very small bump in revenue for being the hot Game Pass game for 1 month, then it falls off a cliff when everyone moves on to the next thing. Or Redfall never even had a chance. They had it worse because it launched so rough, it never was going to succeed. I'm just going to make a comment here about it, all right? With his commentary. Although I can understand what he's saying, if really the Game Pass model has not been designed to be profitable for game developers, okay? Number one, why are game developers trying to get their games on there? If that's the case and they're not making anything, then why would these people be competing to get their games on Game Pass? That doesn't seem to make sense to me. And the truth is, no one knows what game devs are making on Game Pass agreements. It's all behind closed doors contracts. So we don't actually have the knowledge. Brad is just guessing here. That's number one. Number two, let's be honest about Hi-Fi Rush. It was never going to be a sales success because they didn't market it. They literally showed absolutely nothing whatsoever of the game. Then they shadow dropped it on Game Pass. So if you have no marketing and you shadow drop a game, how on earth do you think people are going to get it spread by word of mouth and buy it? They're not. So what happened is everyone played it on Game Pass, and then very little people who didn't play it on Game Pass heard about it by word of mouth and went and bought it. And now it just went on PlayStation this last month, right? So some people are playing it there. But my point is, I understand what Brad's saying, but I think when it comes to the Game Pass argument, he's wrong. I don't think that Hi-Fi Rush was ever going to be a big seller, and it was Microsoft's fault. They literally chose not to market it and shadow drop it. That was a management decision. That's on Microsoft. That's not on Tango Gameworks, and that's not on Game Pass. Okay? Let's continue. The system was fine for a while when Game Pass was growing like gangbusters. But now it has slowed way down, and the amount of revenue it's attributing to games isn't keeping up with the budgets to make them. But all that wouldn't have even mattered 3 or 4 years ago, because back then Xbox was basically just a rounding error on all of Microsoft's books. The division made some money, but more importantly, it didn't really cost that much, and other parts of the business easily covered that gap. Then Xbox went on a buying spree, and they spent a lot of money on Bethesda, but orders of magnitude more on Activision. Now, the Eye of Sauron has now turned, and Xbox is expected to start making back the $70 billion that they spent, or at least cut expenses to the bone and then some while they're trying. Okay? So, just to give a little bit of commentary on that, it's bad management. Who at Xbox thought it would be a good idea to spend $70 billion buying 2 major game studios with no actual plan to make the money back? Who's in charge at Xbox? Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, now Sarah Bond, because she's the head of Xbox now. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, these people were in charge. They miscalculated. They probably thought that Game Pass was going to explode and create them tons of revenue. To some extent, it did for the first year, and then it lost steam when people realized there's no new games coming out under the Xbox banner that are good. So why do I want Game Pass when there's no exclusives under Game Pass I want to play? And it fizzled. That's Microsoft's fault. So their solution is to spend money to buy game studios. But when you spend the money, now what do you do when you owe all that money? How do you finance it? How do you make it back when you still don't have any fucking games? So what should have happened was they should have made good games first, had money, then spent the money to buy better game studios and continue the process. They jumped 2 steps ahead. Before they actually had a money-making venture, they spent an insane amount of money, and then they screwed themselves. So now they're being told by the parent company, Microsoft, hey, listen, you spent all that money. You got to find a way to now make it work. We can't just keep bleeding money. So what are they going to do? Well, we don't have any games we're selling. Game Pass has floundered. I guess we just got to lay people off. We just got to close studios. Even the studios they just fucking bought, they're closing. They put the carriage before the horse. There you go. Okie dokie, that's actually a good way to say it. That's the saying. They put the carriage before the horse. Let's continue with Brad's comments. That brings us back to Game Pass. So far, the big bets on driving new subscriptions like Redfall and Starfield haven't spurred nearly enough growth, and there's not as much on the horizon that is likely to restart this momentum. The best bet is Call of Duty, but you really risk the guaranteed sales revenue that franchise brings in if you put it on Game Pass on day one and potentially lose massive sales. I don't know what the plans are, but either you put it on Game Pass and lose money, or you don't, and the subscribers will revolt because they think that's what they signed up for. Correct. During this entire process of the Blizzard Activision acquisition, I think what's been on everyone's mind is, what are we going to get now out of Game Pass? And I think a lot of people are under the impression Call of Duty is going to hit it. And if it doesn't, they're going to be like, then why do I have Game Pass? Right? Like, I thought that's what was coming. That's what I bought on, signed on for. So you got to wonder what they're going to do with that, right? Call of Duty will be fine, though, as will the other mega studios with huge IPs, but you're now seeing the impact. All of these other smaller studios making really interesting games are going to fall away. Simply because as good as games are like Hi-Fi Rush, they're just never going to make enough money to make up that $70 billion hole that Xbox now has to dig itself out of. Right. So essentially what Brad is saying is, because of bad management decisions, Microsoft is in a giant financial hole, and it literally doesn't matter what games are made. Unless they make the company an insane amount of money, they're just on the chopping block no matter what. So what's safe? I guess the biggest games, right? The big games out of Bethesda, the big games out of Activision Blizzard, and anything big under Microsoft, but anything else that's small time literally could be liquidated at a moment's notice because they're in trouble and it's the management's fault, right? It really is. Who made those choices? Do you think the line-level game dev said, yeah, let's buy Activision Blizzard, let's buy Bethesda? No, that's the management. Yet, who's suffering right now, right? Something is to be said for Nintendo. Nintendo makes a lot of mistakes, but they try to make up for them with decisions with management. For example, do you remember when Nintendo was on a ginormous downturn with the Wii U? The CEO of Nintendo took a giant pay cut that year and said, take my pay that I should have earned and apply it to the company because it's my fault that we went the wrong direction. That is to be monstrously respected. This is a man who knows that bad management decisions are the reason why the company was having issues, and he says, so punish the right person. Don't lay off 5 zillion employees. Instead, punish me because I fucked up. So why is Phil Spencer and Matt Booty and Sarah Bond, why aren't they taking pay cuts exactly? What are they doing right now? Right? Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're going on interviews to tout new products no one asked for and then completely dodge the questions. For example, yesterday, Xbox President Sarah Bond had a Bloomberg interview. In the interview, these were her talking points. Oh, the next-gen Xbox will be the biggest tech leap ever. The core gamer will be in mind. It will have power, performance, and backwards compatibility. All Xbox games will, moving forward, be on Game Pass day one. There'll be more huge Game Pass games coming in 2024. This is part of our future. By the way, we're also going to implement AI into Xbox's future, but we're just not sure yet. Oh, and by the way, just listen to this. You want to talk about off fucking base? Xbox is launching its own mobile game store in July to compete with the Apple and Google mobile game stores. Man, out of all the things that I've wanted in gaming, I'm just glad that someone's going to fill that gap with another store to sell me mobile games. I've really felt this big longing feeling. There's just a space in gaming. I need someone else to sell me mobile games. I'm so glad that Microsoft is in touch with our feelings and giving us what we need and want, right? I'm not even kidding. That's what she talked about in the interview. The interviewer directly asked her about what happened. Why did you lay off Tango Gameworks? And she literally had nothing to say. She just said a PR fluff piece that literally she might as well farted into the microphone, and it probably would have been just as effective. And then she dodged the question and the interview moved on. So this is what Microsoft is doing. They've overspent. They've monstrously underdelivered. Their revenue stream from Game Pass has completely dried up. They don't know where they're getting their money from. So they have to lay off people en masse, and it's not ending. It looks like it's ongoing and continuing. And what are they doing? They're going to now design another console that no one wants, and they're going to open a mobile game store. I don't even know what else to... Do I have to say anything else, or do you understand my feelings on this? I think you understand my feelings on it. This sucks. This sucks ass. All right? Again, I like competition. I like it when all these game companies are at their best. I want Sony and Microsoft and EA and, you know, all these companies, I want them all to be, like, really working hard and competing. And I want to see that competition spurn innovation. Spurn all kinds of great games, and that's when we all thrive. And we had that. The Xbox 360, PS3, Wii era was the golden fucking age, where they were all succeeding and competing. Remember that? Now, it's like, every day you hear a new story about how they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know where the fuck they're going. They're out of money. They're out of jobs. They're out of luck. How did we get here? Who put these jokers in charge? How are they so fucking stupid? Right? I don't get it. How do you have the biggest entertainment medium and industry in the world and drive it off a fucking cliff? How do you do that? Yet, do you think any of these people who are doing these horrible decisions will see any kind of negative repercussions whatsoever? First of all, they're already rich. They're already receiving millions upon millions of dollars of compensation a year for doing the wrong things, right? They are not being punished. They are not being held to task for their decisions. Everyone under them suffers while they stay in their positions of power. So how do you think things will ever get better? It's like I say in life, when you reward bad behaviors, the bad behaviors will continue. You understand? If you call out and punish bad behavior, the bad behavior will stop and change and improve. So if we allow them to sit there and keep making the bad decisions, what makes anyone think that the decision making will get better? It doesn't make any sense to even think that for a moment. I don't know, man. All right, anyway, that's the game news for today. I covered a lot. I'm going late, but it's all good. You know, oh, that is not what I wanted to click. It's all good. And it looks like I need to turn on my air conditioner because it is currently 85 degrees in my office and climbing. My air conditioner actually has a thermostat on it. But I think it is time to turn this on. That was loud, but you probably shouldn't hear it after that. Hopefully, let's see. I'm turning it to around 74. Let's see if I can get it down to 74 in here. And hold on. So let's see if you guys can hear it. No, right? Cool. The filters work. You guys can't hear that at all. This is a good positive thing that you guys are not hearing it. That is excellent. And it's on low. If I turn it higher, maybe, but that's good that you guys can't hear it. I really wish that I could find the controller cover for my controller. I have no clue where it went. Where it would possibly be. Hold on one second. Oh, right there. Uh, Here. What the fuck? I guess it's just gonna be one of those life mysteries. I have no clue where the controller cover could have gone for this air conditioner. I might have to get. I don't even know what to do. You don't want to put tape on the batteries, right? Maybe a rubber band? I'll have to put a rubber band or something on the bottom of this to try to hold it in place. Anyway, okay. So, folks, we got through all the stuff I wanted to talk about. Let's get to shout-outs, shall we? We start off today. Jordan earlier gifted 5 memberships to the community. Thank you so much, Jordan, for the 5 memberships. Congratulations to SSJ4 Hazardous, Sith, OMG, Magoo, and Alec91. Much appreciation there, Jordan, for supporting the community this morning. And so far, it looks like I received a single tip. So, Jordan tipped me $10. And thank you, Jordan, for that. So, FYI, you guys know I have a public email, right? Because every once in a while I get this question. It's like, oh, it's something I want to talk to you or, you know, about or whatever. You can always email me at darksidefil@hotmail.com, just so you guys know. However, understand that there are many of you and only one of me. All right? I do my absolute best to try to review everybody's emails, but I get a ton every day. A lot of them hit my spam filter as a result. And there's nothing I can really do about that. You know, if sometimes someone emails me and I happen to miss it, and then they say, hey, I emailed you, I'll check my spam filter and then I'll find it. But for the most part, I do my best to try to read all emails. I definitely do not respond to every email I get. There's no way possible I could do that. I get so many. But I do my best to try to at least read all the emails I get. And, you know, if I feel like there's something I can add or if it's something of interest to me that a response makes sense, then I'll try to respond, okay? So yeah, if you ever wanted to email me, that's my public email address, darksidefil@hotmail.com. DARKSYDEPHIL, okay? Okay, guys, well, there you have it. That's what's going on right now. We have some extra time. Let's do Q&A because, you know, when we're going to be playing a new game, it makes sense to do Q&A first. Get your questions and concerns out of the way before we jump into a new game today. So I guess the question is, what's on everybody's mind? All right? And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn down my oscillating fan to low. It's going to take a bit for me to find the right balance of what to do in here to keep the room cool. So let me know. But anyway, not let me know. Let me know your questions. Please tag me in the chat. First of all, Jade, how's it going today? It's good to see you. How are you? Do I like Philly cheesesteaks? Yes, I do. I don't eat them often because I can't eat a lot of red meat, and I don't like eating a lot of grease at my age, but I do think they're delicious. Let's see here. Joe Law says there's probably more layoffs coming at Xbox. If you haven't heard, the shitstorm is about to get worse. I mean, are you surprised? I'm not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox cuts a third of its workforce. They have no income. They have no profits coming in. No one is buying games under the Xbox banner, and the Game Pass subscription numbers are going down. So with absolutely no profits, what are they going to do? They're going to cut spending, right? It's to be expected when you have such bad management. The Blimp says, great segment this morning on how the gaming world is changing. Worst thing if it's going to work, it's going to work as well. Like you said, people's attention spans are shorter. Our consumption has changed. I agree. What's my expectation for Hellblade 2? I hope that it'll at least live up to what the first game was. The first game was a sleeper hit. Like, no one expected it to be good. And boot that sucker up. It's got amazing graphics, an interesting, intriguing, riveting story, and some pretty good gameplay mechanics. I'm not expecting it to be super long or a ginormous, monstrous AAA style game. I'm looking for it to be like a 10 to 12 hour romp that's fun. Maybe it'll be even shorter. I don't know. I just hope it's good, you know? After so much waiting for it, you want it to be good, right? I received a $5 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you to Dan for a $5 tip this morning. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, sir. Oh, let's see here. Blue Kit says he's going to Vegas. Anything to do or see while he's there? I can't. I'm the last person to ask. I've gone to Las Vegas like 3 times in my life, and not once did I leave the hotel that the Street Fighter Tournament Evo was being held at to go check out the strip because I'm a complete idiot. So definitely don't listen to my advice. You don't want to sit in a ballroom playing Street Fighter all day like I did. Do I think that Xbox will innovate in the market of mobile games and set a new standard instead of being shovelware? No. But have you heard of any Xbox game studios working on mobile games? Maybe they are. Maybe that's what they're busy doing. I haven't heard anything to that effect, though. So what are they going to put out? It's not like by moving from the console game to the mobile game market that they're somehow by-stepping competition. If anything, I would even argue there's probably even tougher competition in the mobile game market. And that's what they're choosing to shift and transition to. Are they idiots? Yes, they are idiots. It's the dumbest move they could possibly do right now. Right now, they're considered one of the big 3 in console gaming. And instead of actually solidifying and improving their position there, they're moving into another realm where they're going to have 10 times more competition. It's incredibly fucking stupid. And I guarantee you it's going to fail. Oh, let's see here. I received a $2 tip from Jeremy. Would you consider leaving your archive streams of gameplay up on DSPGaming with the chat replay for members like you do on DSP Reacts and DSP Throwback? There's a very distinct reason why I don't do that. Excuse me. Because on DSPGaming, with the gameplay as it is, right? Basically, I want people to go towards the on-demand videos. Okay, why? Because the on-demand videos are cut properly, so you're actually seeing the gameplay in the way that it's supposed to be seen without distractions. And in addition, it cuts out all the bullshit around it, right? A lot of content creators, what they do is they're lazy. Hate to say it. They'll do a stream like I do today, and they'll just put the raw stream up. Okay, I did my work for today. Like, wait a minute. But you've got music playing at the beginning. You got you talking with your audience for an hour. Then you've got 3 hours of gameplay. It's all a mess, a jumbled mess. What if I just want to watch the playthrough in order, right? So that's why I do it the way I do it, is I record separate videos, and then I, will properly thumbnail, title, playlist, so you can watch what you want in a digestible fashion, okay? Now, I understand what you're saying. You're saying if you leave the archive up, okay, the chat can be attached to it. Now, I'm actually curious about this. When I do those archives on my other channels, DSP Reacts and DSP Throwback, Jeremy, you can see the chat. Is that true? Is that actually true? You can actually see the chat? I'm curious about that. Shoot, there'd be no way for me to check. There'd be no way for me to check because I can only watch those archive streams on the channels. Yes, you can. People are confirming they can. That's cool, because I didn't even know. I'll be honest with you. I don't dabble with it that much. I don't even know that. Essentially what it is I want people to gravitate on this channel. I want people to gravitate towards the on-demand videos because that's really the more polished version, right? Any day when I'm doing a live stream, we could have technical difficulties and stuff. I don't want that in the video and shit. That's the other thing too. Like, let's say I'm live streaming, my internet goes out or there's a blip. The stream will jump around and look terrible, as opposed to I'll just cut those parts out when I'm doing the separate recordings. You see what I'm saying? Or if the internet goes out, actually the recording continues, so you don't even get hampered by that kind of stuff. Basically, it hasn't been a thought for me. It hasn't. Like, it hasn't really been a concern in my head that that's something that people want. In general, when it comes to the live chat replays, I talk with you guys. I'm reading things that are being said in chat anyway. It's not like I'm completely ignoring chat 99% of the time or anything like that. I don't know. Do you think there's any benefit in doing it? I don't know. I'll just tell you this. It does open itself up to a little bit more liability, particularly with music that plays. Not to say that it's that big of a deal, because if you haven't noticed, I have dabbled with this on the React channel and now the Throwback channel, and I haven't really had an issue with it. Like, I was nervous leaving the streams up with the music that I play, that somehow it would get claimed or blocked. Even though it's my music, it's my voice, doesn't matter. YouTube doesn't give a shit. and it misappropriates stuff all the time. It'll give credit to the wrong people and shit. So I've kind of been very skeptical about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I would like more input on this. Is there a benefit to having the archived streams up for members, right? And is that benefit enough that maybe you would consider becoming a member to see the archive stream with the chat? You also got to keep in mind something. Sadly, these idiots giving away the fake memberships, those people have access to the archive streams if I make them members only. So really, it's not like it's going to benefit the business. It isn't really a feature to advertise because anyone at any moment could just be given a membership for less than a penny. YouTube is so fucking stupidly broken, right? So, I don't know. It's something to think about. It's the first time I'm actually even really hearing it or considering it. More feedback needed. Okay? Okay. Jordan, thank you for a super chat with a happy face. Bloomkid did a super chat and says you went 3 times and never saw the strip. No, I'm a moron. I've told you guys this a million times. When back in the 2000s, my only concern was competitive Street Fighter and working and shit like that. That was it. I wasn't into console games. I wasn't into anything, just competitive Street Fighter. All right? So I went to Vegas 3 times. 2005, 6, and 7. And each year, I went to a hotel where EVO was being held. And each year, I just sat in the hotel playing Street Fighter in a tournament or in a ballroom and or playing Street Fighter in a hotel room against other people. And that's all I did for like the whole week that I was there. I didn't go to the strip. I didn't go to any casino. I didn't eat any good food. I just ate shitty hotel food the whole time I was there. I'm not kidding. I'm just a moron. Like, I admit it now. I'm an adult. I don't even consider myself an adult back then. Seriously, mid-2000s, I was like my early 20s. I was a moron. Really. I was just I was a troll. I was an idiot. You know, I'm not proud of the Street Fighter days until the final couple of years where I matured up and realized how stupid I had been up to that point. But it's just a really dumb part of my life where, like, how do you go to fucking Las Vegas, a major tourism hub of the planet, where everyone wishes they could go, and literally not go see the sights because you want to play Street Fighter? You'd have to be an asshole, and I'm an asshole. There's no other justification for that behavior. I should have went and saw the strip and ate food and gambled and done fun things, and I didn't because I was a moron, you know? So there you have it. Dark Souls Master did a super chat. Is Jasper excited for the new game today? I don't know. I have no idea. I'll have to ask him later. And Jordan, thank you for the super chat again. He says trolls would benefit. What are you talking about? From having the chat archived? Well, undoubtedly, here's the thing, okay? Here's the truth, is, yes, when people have a new avenue to get attention for themselves, especially if it's negative attention, they'll do everything they can to basically get noticed. You know, for many years, during that time period when I was really most hated on the internet, basically the trolls tried everything they could to ruin my video comments, because these idiots who were making the "this is how you don't play" videos, which really weren't about my gameplay anymore, they were just about personal attacks and slander at this point, wanted to highlight the worst comments on videos. So people would literally compete in the comments of my gameplay videos to say the most offensive thing possible about me, my family members, the viewers, moderators. They would dox people. They would say racist things. They would say sexist things. They would say sexual things. They would do anything they could that basically violates every term of service on YouTube. And they would try to do it in the video comments to get noticed so someone would highlight them in a video. Okay? And it got so bad that my actual fans who came to my videos to watch and enjoy them said, I can't watch and enjoy them anymore. If I literally scroll down by accident to your comments, all I see is the most vile stuff on the planet. At this point, there's no point in having video comments. Just turn them off. So I listened to feedback, and I did. I turned them all off. And for many years, I had no video comments on any of my videos. And guess what happened? All that bullshit kind of content went away. The "this is how you don't play" videos highlighting negative comments, they had no subject matter anymore. So they kind of faded into obscurity. And now, I mean, are there still negative videos about me? Yeah, but you notice they're not that kind anymore. Now it's just idiots making shit up every day. So the thing is, if I were to publicly announce, hey, everybody, guess what? Now I'm going to archive all my streams with full comments and chat. You know, you get exponential increase in people trying to get noticed, because then it's archived forever, right? So that's why I just don't mess with that stuff. I don't think it's even worth it. That's why I have the content that's curated. It's cut down to the portions you want to see, titled correctly, thumbnail, playlist, find what you want. And I get that some people might like seeing the chat interaction, but, you know, I think that it's kind of a double-edged sword in that regard. You don't want people coming in here with 700 bot accounts every day just to be noticed for 5 minutes in the stream chat archive, right? Oh, let's see. The villain says, you think Halo will get a revival? I don't know. I want Halo to succeed. I liked Halo Infinite until they ruined it 3 months in. So, Jade, how you doing? I'm glad to hear that you're good, Jade. Welcome. I look tired. I do? I don't particularly feel tired or think I look tired today. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. No idea. I've been using the same webcam for a year and a half. So it says, what camera are you using? It looks better. It's the same webcam I've used for a year and a half. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. People are saying weird things this morning. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Jasper is in the house today. I mean, this is a Friday, as you know. Jasper typically comes in here on days when my wife is at work. And she's home. We have all the air conditioners on as well. So probably not a good day for him to be in here running around crazy. He's probably, I would bet he's zooming all over the house right now with the cold air and everything, right? I almost guarantee he probably has the zoomies. Big Ocho, 9 months as a member. Thank you, Big Ocho. He says, new game. Yeah, we're going to see if this game's any good. I hope it is. We're going to find out. How my allergies been? So far, not so bad. In fact, as soon as I went downstairs to the kitchen this morning, I sneezed. I was like, achoo, oh, shit. I said right to my wife, I said, oh, no. I really hope this isn't like the first day of allergies for me. I really hope that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, please don't let this be the start of my yearly allergies. I really, 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 really hope not. But I guess we'll see if this is the beginning or not. My first sneeze was today. Big Ocho gifted a membership. It went to Greasy. Congrats, Greasy. Thank you, Big Ocho, for supporting the community. And for those who have supported early on today on the show, I appreciate that. So, people person, how exactly am I supposed to care about a parasite that cats can spread when my cat is an indoor cat that literally never leaves the house and has no interactions with other animals? Why would I be afraid of this parasite you're talking about? Am I excited for this new game today? I mean, I'm always excited for a new game. I hope it's good, but I don't know. If it's a game that's, like, cute and fun to play, even if it's not the best game, if it's short, then maybe it's worth a playthrough, you know? We'll find out. I don't know. I literally did not spoil myself on this game because I wanted to play it genuinely for the first time. So I don't know that much about it. All right, guys. I assume we're winding down, considering that there's almost no questions, and the questions I'm getting are silly. Thank you to Copperer for a super chat this morning. He says, good luck, have fun. Thank you, Copperer. Appreciate that. Do I ever play the lottery? No, not anymore. There was a time in my life when I used to do scratch-offs, and then there was a time when I would, like, weekly buy a lotto ticket, but that's been a very long time ago. Am I going to take Akuma to Master? I don't know. Depends on if I like him. Maybe I'll like him and I'll want to take him to Master. Maybe I won't. I don't know. You think it'll be better than Halibut? Well, I mean, the game seems to be action and puzzle based with some cutesy mechanics to it because it's a cat. Halibut was just literally walk around, talk to someone, do a menial task, walk around, talk to someone, do a menial task, walk around and talk to someone, walk around and talk to someone, walk around and talk to someone, walk around, talk to someone, talk to someone, talk to someone, walk around, talk to someone, do a menial task. Like, that was the whole game. So, I guess we'll see. All right, guys. I think we shall end our show for today. I'm curious to see what the game will be like. Hopefully it is good, and hopefully it's something that we will enjoy and want in the rotation. And if not, well, then I guess we'll mix it up again. We'll find out, all right? Whew, all right. Big yawn at the end of the show. Oh, man. A stretch and a yawn to end the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed all the topics. And tomorrow, obviously, we'll have a bit to talk about in regards to this game and how I did in my climb to master with Zangief, and further topics of news and the like. By the way, thank you, Cypress TV, 21 months as a member, and says, have a great stream. Thank you to Cypress. All right, guys, thank you all. I will see you tomorrow on the show. Be safe, stay cool, and peace out.